court. He is accused of leading police on an overnight chase and then shooting and killing an innocent passenger.
That passenger's devastated family first spoke to our NBC4i team after they were thrown into unexpected mourning. Tonight, we are following through on this story. We want to spend some time focusing on the life of 48-year-old Anthony Rivera, who was on his usual bus ride home from work, and now his family's fight for justice in keeping all riders safe.
The NBC4i team's Eric Leonard was the one to first hear their painful story. He's now live in our newsroom with what they want to see done and what comes next in this case. Eric?
Hi, Kathy and Jonathan. Well, the prosecutors are set to consider murder, kidnapping, possibly a number of other charges on Monday morning, tomorrow morning, when the man arrested in the case is brought to court. He's been held without bail since last week. But as you saw there, the family of Anthony Rivera says they want his death to matter. They want to see some changes as the result of what happened last week.
I just want justice for my boy.
Anthony Rivera's mother, Teresa, and nearly a dozen members of his family say there would be no reason for anyone to want to hurt him. They say he was on the bus that got hijacked early Wednesday morning because he couldn't afford a car. He was commuting home from his job as a parking attendant at Dodger Stadium.
Very friendly, very giving. If he had his last dollar, he would give it to you.
His mother says her son would have handed over anything he had to the hijacker.
Whatever you want, I have it here. Get it. And the man just turned around and just shot him.
The LAPD says Rivera was shot during the hour-long ordeal in which the hijacker forced the bus operator to drive through downtown LA. Before the bus hit spike strips, was stopped, and members of the SWAT team rescued the driver. Officers and paramedics raced to save Rivera, but he died at a hospital.
My family wants to make sure that Anthony is remembered in a way where his death will matter.
Family members say it's unacceptable that people like Rivera, who depend on public transit to get to work, are still so vulnerable to violence.
We need change. And we understand that bus drivers need safety. We understand that. And thank goodness that they have that safety in place. But what about the passengers?
The man expected to face charges tomorrow is 51-year-old Lamont Campbell. The I-Team confirmed Campbell has previously spent time in state prison. In 1996, he was sentenced to a 5-year term for trafficking or sales of narcotics, and he was released in 1998. In 2010, he was sentenced to 6 years on the same charge with an enhancement for the prior conviction and was paroled about a year later. And in 2018, he pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor drug charge.
Campbell has been held without bail since he was arrested by LAPD SWAT officers at the conclusion of that chase. And again, he is due in court tomorrow morning. Jonathan and Kathy, back to you.
All right, Eric, just wondering why it took so long for that suspect to appear in court.
Right, usually it's within a couple of days. This arrest happened last Wednesday morning. Typically it's 48 hours before someone has to be brought to court. There was a court holiday on Friday, so that pushed everything over till tomorrow morning. But because that deadline exists, it means that prosecutors are up against the clock, and some kind of criminal charge will have to be filed tomorrow. We're expecting it in the morning, and we're expecting it to include some pretty major charges that could deliver a life sentence in prison if he were to be convicted.
All right, we know you're going to stay on top of it. Eric Leonard, thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Well, tonight we have lost